Our vertical integration capability gives us the flexibility in the fast response to the market trend.
Newer version that's a fully flying car. They want this on the road by 2030, and they've already done tests.
China's BYD is shaking things up again, and this time it is with a flying car valued at an unbelievable price of $4,999. BYD's CEO just revealed this innovative ride, and it's already gaining popularity.
For the first time, Chinese electric vehicle maker BYD has seen its revenue surpass that of Tesla's, hasn't it?
No one saw this coming, especially at a price that anyone can get excited about. Is this the beginning of affordable flying cars? And how did the company pull this off before anyone else? Join us as we look into the release of the first flying car by Chinese BYD, BYD's revolutionary flying car. BYD is one of China's biggest electric vehicle manufacturers, and it just shocked the tech world with its latest reveal of a flying car. This isn't the kind of thing most people expect to see in a price range under $5,000, especially when other companies working on flying car tech have mostly aimed for ultra-luxury models far out of reach for the general public. With this move, BYD is aiming to open up a whole new chapter in transportation, one that could change the way people think about commuting and travel, especially in urban areas. What sets this release apart is how it combines advanced tech with a price tag that's surprisingly accessible, marking a clear push from BYD to bring high-tech solutions into the hands of everyday people. So, how did tech enthusiasts react to this development? We're getting there. Stay tuned. While BYD has made its name in electric vehicles, EVs, and is already known for pushing clean technology forward, this flying car signals that they're aiming even higher. The company has long been about making advanced tech accessible, and this is its biggest attempt yet to bring something futuristic directly into the public's hands. It's a big statement from China, and it definitely puts the country at the forefront of this kind of technology. The news of BYD's affordable flying car took off immediately around the world. Media outlets couldn't resist the headline after all. This is the type of announcement that draws the attention everyone. Tech enthusiasts, business watchers, and everyday folks have been drawn in by the novelty of a flying car being priced for less than most high-end laptops or smartphones. You have news sites, bloggers, and social media buzzing about it, and people are sharing their thoughts on what it could mean. It's an unexpected development that caught a lot of industry players off guard, especially with how BYD has managed to keep the price so low.
Arguably never seen anything like this in terms of, the amount of support that China has extended to automakers specifically pertaining to EVs.
Some big names in tech have even chimed in with reactions, as people are curious to see where this goes. After all, there's been a lot of talk around flying cars, but most projects are priced so high that they remain out of reach for regular buyers. BYD's launch has changed that narrative, putting the concept on a path toward mass adoption.
Technology and design, they need to be also one firm unit. And for this, we are also very, as designers and as BYD generally, also our customers, very happy.
The announcement also reflects China's broader pattern of dominance in emerging technologies. In recent years, China has been leading the way in areas like AI, robotics, and clean energy, and now they're setting a benchmark in flying transportation. It's not just about being innovative, but also about redefining who gets access to these innovations. What really sets this flying car apart, though, is the price point of $4,999. It is a game changer in a field where six-figure amounts have been the standard. For years, people have seen flying car concepts come and go, most carrying high price tags and targeted at wealthy buyers or companies. BYD's flying car, by contrast, is the first realistic opportunity for regular people to consider a flying vehicle in their future. It's a huge step toward making the technology accessible, moving it from something imagined in sci-fi movies to something people could actually afford. This move also reflects a historical trend we've seen in the transportation industry. There was a time when cars were a luxury only a few could afford, and the same was true for airplanes. But as prices dropped and production scaled up, cars and air travel became accessible to the general public. Now, BYD is following a similar path, democratizing access to flying cars in a way that hasn't been attempted before. They're building on their success in EVs, where they've already focused on making clean energy cars affordable for a wider audience, and now they're applying that same approach to this new technology. The launch of BYD's flying car has certainly stirred up the competition, especially with Tesla and other electric vehicle manufacturers. While companies like Tesla have been investing heavily in autonomous driving and futuristic technology, BYD's focus on affordability puts a different kind of pressure on them. Tesla, for instance, has pursued high-end models with premium features, and while they've been exploring autonomous driving, the idea of a flying car at such a low price changes the conversation. BYD is signaling that they're willing to expand beyond traditional EVs and into uncharted territory, aiming to be not just a player in the EV world, but a leader in the future of transport itself. This move also raises questions for other EV makers about how they'll respond. The world is watching to see if Tesla or other players might take inspiration from BYD's approach and try their hand at creating affordable flying vehicles of their own. By introducing this model, BYD has effectively set a new standard, and competitors now face the challenge of either keeping up or potentially losing ground in this evolving market. With BYD pushing ahead with affordable flying cars, the pressure is on for others to innovate, whether through lower prices, new features, or entirely new vehicle concepts. This flying car also fits neatly into BYD's broader clean energy and transportation strategy. BYD has been positioning itself as a company dedicated to sustainable transport, having already made strides in the electric vehicle industry. The flying car aligns with their mission to reduce the environmental impact of transportation, as it likely uses electric or hybrid power, consistent with their existing focus on eco-friendly tech. This approach is not only a win for consumers who want more options, but also a plus for environmental goals, as it could encourage a broader adoption of cleaner transportation technologies. The buzz around BYD's flying car is only growing, and people are curious to learn more about its features and capabilities. What's the range? How fast can it go? What kind of technology powers it? These are the questions that are floating around, and we will be answering these questions in the course of this video. The video gets interesting from this point. Features and speculations of the flying car. The car is a unique blend of accessible, practical design and straightforward functionality. This car is all about getting the job done efficiently and affordably. Color options are said to be fairly basic, likely in sleek, muted tones to maintain that functional vibe while keeping costs low. In terms of materials, BYD has chosen lightweight yet durable components, aiming to balance affordability with durability. The overall design prioritizes ease of navigation through urban areas.
What we want to do is a real flying car that can drive on the road and fly in the sky.
So it's not oversized or complicated. Reports suggest it's compact enough to fit in tighter spaces, with dimensions around 12 feet in length and roughly 5 feet in width. Weighing approximately 1,500 pounds, it's relatively light for a flying vehicle, which helps with its flight efficiency.
We'll see our flying car, and will be the very important base for the next generation flying car.
The cockpit of this flying car is another place where simplicity shines. The controls are basic and intuitive, designed so even those who've never been in a cockpit before can manage. It's not cluttered with advanced controls, but focuses on core functionality. This straightforward layout lets a first-time flyer operate the vehicle without a steep learning curve. To add to the convenience, the car comes with retractable landing gear, so it can take off and land with minimal fuss. The aerodynamic design also ensures stable, short-distance travel.
And in terms of urban mobility, it includes both the air passenger transportation and air logistic uses.
With features tailored to make city flights smooth and efficient. What powers BYD's flying car is just as interesting as its design. The propulsion system relies on electric motors, which aligns with BYD's eco-friendly focus. Using electricity rather than traditional fuel is not only cheaper, but also much cleaner for the environment. This propulsion choice also lets the car operate at a lower noise level, which is a major plus for city and suburban use. As for takeoffs and landings, This car is built to manage them in compact spaces. Short takeoff and landing capabilities mean it doesn't need a full runway, just a small, clear area. It can lift off and touch down in parking lots or small fields, making it versatile for different urban environments. Safety is obviously a big priority with any flying vehicle, and BYD's flying car has several features to keep things secure. It has automatic stabilization, which helps keep the ride steady even if there's a bit of wind or turbulence. Altitude control is another key part of the safety setup, ensuring the car doesn't accidentally climb too high. Reports suggest that the flying car has a maximum altitude of about 1,000 feet, which is more than enough for city flights while avoiding regulated airspace. The car can fly at a top speed of around 80 miles per hour, and on a full charge, it's expected to offer a flight time of roughly 45 minutes. This gives it a range of about 30 miles, ideal for short commutes or trips within a metropolitan area. In terms of navigation, there's some speculation about added tech features like mobile connectivity. This could mean that BYD's flying car may have some form of GPS or route guidance integrated directly into the vehicle, helping pilots track routes or monitor their journey. Autonomous capabilities might also be in the works, although there's no confirmation yet on whether this version includes self-flying technology. BYD has also put careful thought into the car's battery setup. The company has plenty of experience in EV batteries.
China actually takes a carrot and stick approach. They set mandatory EV output targets for automakers, but they also offer cheaper loans and cheaper land and R&D subsidies to all those EV makers.
And this flying car benefits from that. It uses advanced lithium-ion battery cells, likely with BYD's own innovations to enhance lifespan and charge efficiency. On a single charge, the car can cover its maximum range, providing enough power for most city-to-city or short-distance trips. The charging time is relatively fast, estimated at about an hour, and there's talk of BYD developing a network of chargers specifically for this new vehicle class. In addition, they may include solar charging options to further extend battery life, allowing for some extra energy when parked in the sun. Given the use of clean energy, the car not only saves on fuel costs, but also reduces emissions, making it a sustainable choice for future urban transport. Speed-wise, the flying car's maximum speed of 80 miles per hour is decent for urban or suburban use. Compared to ground vehicles, it's faster than regular cars in city traffic, but it's not going to match the speeds of high-performance aircraft. That's part of the point. BYD's car isn't trying to replace planes, but to provide a different way to move around congested areas. With a 25-30 mile range on a single charge, it's set up for shorter trips rather than cross-country travel. This range is efficient for everyday use in populated areas, but keeps the car within regulated airspace limits, which is important since aviation laws restrict how high and far such vehicles can go. Since the flying car operates relatively low in the sky, it stays clear of major airspace restrictions, but regulations still apply. Meeting safety and airworthiness standards is essential, and BYD has reportedly been working closely with Chinese authorities to ensure this model complies. For international markets, the car would need further certifications to meet local aviation requirements, especially as airspace regulations vary widely. Built-in fail-safes, like an emergency landing function, have been included to handle unexpected situations. Testing has been rigorous, following both local and international guidelines for new aerial vehicles. Given the global interest in flying cars, regulatory bodies may eventually adjust their policies to accommodate more of these vehicles. But for now, BYD's model fits within current urban flight limits. In terms of security, BYD has worked to address any potential risks. The car's tech includes backup power for landing if the main battery starts to run low. Plus, the automatic stabilization system keeps the flight steady, even if conditions change quickly. These features give the car a solid safety profile, which is critical for public acceptance, especially with new flying tech like this. It's clear that BYD is doing everything possible to ensure the car meets high safety standards, while also keeping it accessible and easy to use. Everything about this flying car is evidence of BYD's innovation, which was improved through the years. BYD's innovation from batteries to EVs and flying cars. BYD started out in 1995 with a clear focus on rechargeable batteries. In those early days, it wasn't about electric vehicles or flying cars, but about creating energy storage solutions that were cheaper and reliable.
Chinese electric vehicle maker Xpeng's flying car has made its first public flight, taken to the sky in Dubai.
It's called the Xpeng X2, and it looks freaking sick. I mean, look at those headlights, super aggressive. Windshield is crazy long. It's got the light going down the middle as well.
Imagine soaring above traffic jams and experiencing the thrill of flight in the palm of your hands. China's Xpeng Aeroht has made this vision a reality with the Xpeng X2, the world's first commercially available flying car. Priced at an unprecedented $7,999, this revolutionary eVTOL, electric vertical takeoff and landing vehicle, is set to transform urban transportation forever. With autonomous and manual modes, this air vehicle defies conventional boundaries, merging car and aircraft capabilities. But what will this mean for the future, and where will it place China? Join us as we explore how China's expensive flying car changes everything and defines a new age for technology. China's flying cars. China is known for being at the forefront of technology. They have been long known for birthing the weirdest yet most unbelievable inventions in history. In fact, as it seems now, they may be advancing way too fast into the future. The concept of flying cars used to be merely a dream of science fiction, or an innovation that we assumed would happen in the next age. But the way things are evolving in China, we might not have to dream anymore because they have finally made this mind-blowing invention into a reality. We are talking about a world of no traffic, no pollution, low-altitude cruises, and almost no accidents. Shocking, isn't it? The Chinese company at the start of this flying car race is China's Aeroht, the largest flying car company in Asia and an affiliate of Xpeng. Established in 2013, the company has accumulated 15,000 safe manned flights and has won multiple industrial design awards. Xpeng Aeroht, initially founded as high-tech by Zhao Deli with financial support from Xpeng CEO He Xiaoping, has made significant strides in the flying car industry. The company rebranded to Aeroht and debuted its first-generation flying car in 2016. By 2020, the company had launched its fifth-generation flying car, and in 2021, Aeroht completed its Series A financing round, raising over $500 million. Xpeng is currently the leading tech company in the diversity of mobility, including electric vehicles, EVs, electric vertical takeoff and landing, eVTOL aircraft, and robotics. They focus on creating a future of mobility that uses thoughtful and empathetic intelligence to improve the driving experience. When relatively young electric car manufacturer Xpeng announced it was throwing more than $500 million at a new flying car division back in 2021, many were baffled and even amused. But Aeroht wiped the grin off our faces 12 months later when it started flight testing different models of flying cars. Just in 2022, Xpeng Aeroht conducted the first flight of its electric flying car, the Xpeng X2, the fifth-generation flying car that was independently developed and manufactured by Xpeng Aeroht.
So some people would think this could be still things for the future, but from our perspective, it will not be that far away from now.
At the GITEX Global Tech Show in Skydive, Dubai. GITEX Global is one of the world's largest tech shows. The 2022 42nd edition of the event kicked off at the Dubai World Trade Center, featuring 5,000 companies and 100,000 attendees from 170 countries, and converging the most advanced companies and best minds to dive deep into diverse technology topics, including future mobility.
We'll see our flying car, and will be the very important base for the next generation flying car.
Priced at a whopping cost between $126,000 USD and $236,000 USD, this fifth-generation Model X2 exhibited at the Xpeng Aeroht Pavilion Za'abil Hall 3 completely turned the heads of thousands of visitors on the first day of the GITEX International event. It was Xpeng X2's first public display after completing the specific operations risk assessment and achieving a special flying permit from the Dubai Civil Aviation Authority, DCAA. This first flight was witnessed by over 150 attendees, including representatives from the Chinese consulate in Dubai, the Dubai International Chamber of Commerce, the DCAA, the Dubai Department of Economy and Tourism, the Dubai World Trade Center, and global media. The public flight took place at a location that offered excellent airspace conditions and panoramic views of the cityscape, providing the historic flight with a breathtaking backdrop. This first flight not only proved X2's sustainability and safety in the future, but also showcased its special features. The X2 adopts an enclosed cockpit with a minimalist, teardrop-shaped design and an extraterrestrial appearance that takes highly efficient aerodynamics into account to achieve the ultimate in-flight performance. One of its unique features is its light mass. To reduce weight, the Xpeng X2 has a complete carbon fiber structure. Moreover, it is only a two-seater flying car. To top it all off, Xpeng X2 uses electric propulsion powered by lithium-ion batteries whose cells are controlled by a thermal management system to prevent overheating and risk of explosion. The use of this fuselage system ensures a quiet operation, zero emissions, reduced vibration, and increased efficiency. Its zero carbon dioxide emission during flight, especially as a step forward in the pursuit of urban green transportation.
And in terms of urban mobility, it includes both the air passenger transportation and air logistic uses.
Without a doubt, Xpeng X2 will be suitable for future low-altitude city flights and perfect for short-distance city journeys, such as sightseeing and medical transportation. Its driving modes consist of manual and autonomous. During the autonomous flight, passengers can enjoy a safe and intelligent flying experience with simple start, return, and landing operations at the touch of a button. Xpeng X2 is not designed for road driving but only for flights. It has no wheels or traditional landing gear since it is only intended for vertical takeoff and landing, VTOL operations, and uses a dedicated vertiport or helipad parking. With such an exclusive sci-fi display coming to life, it was no surprise the spectators were amazed and truly invested. Brian Gu, vice chairman and president of Xpeng, commented that Xpeng X2's public display in Dubai represents a significant milestone for Xpeng Aeroht and the international achievement of flying cars.
Chinese electric vehicle maker Xpeng's flying car has made its first public flight, taken to the sky in Dubai.
Dubai is a world-renowned city of innovation, which is the reason they decided to hold the X2's first public flight event here.
We are make the step by step to the international market, and first we select the Dubai city because Dubai is the most innovation cities in the world.
Its flight represents a major step in Xpeng's exploration of future mobility. The Xpeng X2's first public flight was also highly supported by the Dubai International Chamber of Commerce. The Dubai Chamber has been deeply involved in the whole process since the launch of the project, providing strategic consulting to Xpeng Aeroht. Acting President and CEO Hassan Al-Hashemi attended the event and cited in his speech, "The first global public flight of the X2 flying car will change the game of future mobility. The flying car is the epitome of ambition, innovation, and future-oriented vision that has always inspired Dubai and its leadership. Today, we witnessed a historic moment that will define the next 50 years. What does this imply? It means that very soon we might be saying goodbye to the basic vehicles we have now because flying cars will majorly take over the world of transport in the next few decades. If you have ever watched the cartoon Iwaju, perhaps you might be able to envision this future. During the test, the Xpeng X2 received appraisal from the DCAA reviewers for the stability, as well as the standardization of the entire flight operation process. The Xpeng X2's completion of the assessment is the first time China's manned autonomous flying vehicle has completed its operational risk assessment overseas. Xpeng Aeroht thus became the first company to pass the assessment in Dubai in the specific weight class. Xpeng Aeroht also released the crucial achievement of R&D progress of the 6th-generation flying car, including its configuration, exterior design, and air driving method. Equipped with both manual and automatic flight driving modes, this next-generation electric flying car, which can drive in the air and on roads, represents a true transformation from two-dimensional to three-dimensional mobility. As well as meeting daily travel demands, it can trigger the folding deformation system to achieve vertical takeoff and landing for a low-altitude manned flight. The invention of Xpeng X2, however, was only the beginning of the age of flying cars. Not long after Xpeng X2's reveal in 2022, the following year, China's Aeroht emerged with another two eVTOL flying cars showcasing fascinating new concepts: a six-wheel drive hybrid electric aircraft carrier van, and a new version of the flying supercar with a fully concealed airframe. This aircraft, which looks like a sporty hatchback with a giant drone on top, is a 2-ton prototype of the X3 flying car. While it seems like Aeroht is fully committed to bringing some very weird ideas to the market, Chinese aviation authorities have also recently proven they're willing to roll out the red carpet for innovative ideas, as Europe and the USA continue to make strict restrictions on their aviation industry. The first concept Aeroht unveiled was what the company dubbed a land aircraft carrier. While not a flying car per se, this brutally futuristic six-wheel drive gray panel van is a ground deployment system for a 2-seat eVTOL multicopter, which travels in the back. The deployment system is something sort of exciting. The van opens its rear doors and squats down on its suspension, and a boxy little aircraft is automatically deposited, folding out its landing gear. After the van nicks off, 6 little arms fold out from the top of the aircraft's cabin, each with a large carbon fiber propeller and an electric motor, and then it takes off gracefully. According to Aeroht, the aircraft van will run off a range-extended hybrid power system, enabling it to provide multiple recharges for the air vehicle and is capable of carrying up to 4 or 5 people. The company pitching the land aircraft carrier for emergency services use, but also as a privately owned toy. The second concept was an updated look at how the flying supercar is going to work. Where the original concept only used 2 very large propellers on fold-out arms, the company is now moving to a more practical 4-arm system with 8 coaxially mounted propellers for extra control and redundancy. But this long, low, sporty-looking car will still store its flight gear internally, where the critical flight gear won't get damaged by highway debris. The final specialty Aeroht showcased was the most impressive. It was a display of its innovative low-altitude ballistic parachute system, bringing an aircraft down from just 50 m off the ground. Following its reputation for mind-blowing technologies, Aeroht remains one of the most inspiring companies in the emerging eVTOL landscape. Certainly, it wouldn't be a surprise to see all of its inventions airborne within the coming months. Physics throws up no deal-breaking impediments to such a flying supercar getting off the ground. But if at this point you still think flying cars is a far-fetched dream, then you might need to rethink it again. Because the Xpeng X2 display in Dubai was not the last the world heard of X2. Just late this year, Xpeng Aeroht showcased its highly improved X2 flying car once again at the 2024 China Langfang International Economic and Trade Fair. The demonstration took place at the Beijing International Airport Economic Zone. While not its first public test flight, this occasion marked the first flight of a flying car in the Beijing-Tianjin-Hebei region.
China, a flying car takes its first test flight in Saudi Arabia. Pilgrims hurled pebbles at a pillar in a symbolic stoning of the devil during the annual Hajj.
The Xpeng X2, known as Voyager 2 when originally launched, is more of a drone-type vehicle than a car. It measures 5,172 mm in length, 5,124 mm in width, and 1,362 mm in height, with a curb weight of 680 kilograms and a maximum payload of 160 kilograms. Unlike most consumer drones with 4 motors, the X2 is an octocopter, providing extra thrust and redundancy. Despite its compact and sleek design, however, the most important feature is its safety measures in case of motor failure: a built-in parachute. Moreover, with a flight endurance of 25 minutes, the X2 has undergone nearly 4,000 test flights and has been tested in various scenarios, including urban areas, sea regions, and deserts. Aeroht plans to offer an extended-range option for the mass-produced version, presumably with a larger battery, to hit the market in the next few years. This demonstration in Beijing signified another milestone in the development of flying car technology in China, as the Xpeng X2 continues to push forward for a future of urban and intercity transportation in the air. And you won't believe what this will do to China's economy. Will China be the richest country in the world soon? The low-altitude economy of China is growing enormously. It is not an exaggeration to say that they might soon become the richest country. Why, you might ask? The low-altitude economy has received strong support in China, and the construction of the infrastructure and service guarantee systems for the low-altitude economy has accelerated.
It's a rough road to recovery for China's economy. New data shows people are not spending enough money, the real estate crisis is unresolved, and investments into the country are drying up.
Which in turn fueled investment and gave birth to new business models like low-altitude logistics, low-altitude agriculture, and low-altitude tourism. The low-altitude economy describes economic activities in the airspace within 1,000 meters above ground, using advanced air mobility as the core, and the main carriers include unmanned aerial vehicles, flying taxis, and others, enabling air travel, logistics, and transportation. Aviation generally covers a wide range of civil aviation activities other than military, police, customs, anti-smuggling flights, and public air transport. It includes helicopters, electric vertical takeoff and landing aircraft, eVTOL, as well as agricultural aircraft and distribution drones, and the low-altitude economy is part of it. In 2021, the low-altitude economy was officially incorporated into China's national plan.
Now, we zoom in on China's low-altitude economy, a term that's been identified in this year's government work report as one of the new quality productive forces.
In the past years, many emerging industries have evolved into new growth drivers in China's economy. It is no news that the country's technological and industrial innovation boasts a huge international market. The development of its low-altitude economy was once again another reflection of how the country develops new quality productive forces and drives the high-quality development of its economy. For one, the low-altitude economy will create more jobs. Boeing forecasts that the aviation industry will need 2.3 million recruits in the next 20 years, including 650,000 pilots and nearly 1 million flight attendants. In addition, because most of these aircraft are powered by electricity, they emit less carbon than conventional aircraft, contributing to the International Air Transport Association's vision of zero carbon emissions by 2050. On the Chinese mainland, Shenzhen is a leader in the low-altitude economy. In 2023, the city flew more than 600,000 cargo drones, ranking first in the country. That's not all. At the Shenzhen Low-Altitude Economy High-Quality Development Conference in early August, the city's senior officials said that the city will build more than 1,000 routes and 1,000 platforms for low-altitude aircraft takeoffs and landings by the end of 2025 to achieve the internationally advanced level in the field. According to Xinhua news agency, China's low-altitude economy exceeded $70.5 billion in 2023 and is expected to reach 2 trillion yuan in 2030, with vertical mobility seen as a new productive force in areas such as passenger transport and cargo deliveries. Morgan Stanley also predicts that the global market for urban air mobility will reach $1 trillion by 2040 and soar to $9 trillion by 2050. Consequently, this will favorably increase China's economy in the future. So if you are an investor, you might not need to think twice where you put your money. In July of this year, the central government included the development of general aviation and low-altitude economy in the resolution of the third plenary session of the 20th Central Committee of the Communist Party of China, pushing the popularity of the low-altitude economy to an even higher level than it was before. China's nascent low-altitude economy, made up of manned or unmanned aviation services at low elevations, right from the start captured investors' interest from around the globe. But this is no surprise. The return of such an investment will be enormous in the future. Initial plans for China's low-altitude economy used to be services such as small-scale deliveries of goods at elevations of up to 3,280 feet. But some localities are also eyeing an airspace of up to 9,840 feet. The emergence of Xpeng X2 especially highlighted the country's target of developing this low-altitude economy, an objective that their government seems to be fully invested in. Upon Xpeng X2's test flight in Beijing this year, the Beijing city government issued a draft action plan titled, "Beijing Promotes the High-Quality Development of the Low-Altitude Economy Industry, 2024 to 2027. This plan aims to establish Beijing as a hub for innovation in the low-altitude economy.
Tell people how we utilize the resources at the low-altitude spaces, make a rule, let people to follow.
It explores new business models for flying cars, including intercity commuting and inner-city shuttle services. Besides Xpeng X2, however, the ever-growing low-altitude economy is also being steadily boosted by drones and other eVTOLs. Amongst other nations, China stands at the top when it comes to the increased utilization of drones and eVTOL in expanding their nation's economy. It's like they know what the future holds and are actively preparing for it by advancing their technology. Currently, more than 225,000 people have acquired the license for unmanned aircraft and qualified as drone operators. As the country is also loosening airspace curbs and granting incentives to develop the low-altitude economy sector, manufacturers in the world's top drone-making nation are testing ever larger payloads, and transport companies are planning air taxi services, both manned and unmanned. The sector will be an important driver for a new round of economic growth, said Luo Jun, executive director of the China Low-Altitude Economic Alliance. He added that specific ideas on how to build the low-altitude economy were not sufficiently clear. There is no mature business model for the low-altitude economy to learn from abroad, Luo said in a statement. Many companies are both enthusiastic and confused about the low-altitude economy. Luo said in early August, when the China Low-Altitude Economic Alliance comprising more than 100 companies was established, that the group would take the lead in guiding cities to quickly develop applications that can be replicated commercially. This implies that in no time transportation all over the world will change. The new age of transport. At this point, we already know that flying cars are not just fictional ideas, but what you are yet to know is that the future we have been referring to is now. Surprisingly, it's not decades away because currently there have been many reports of these aircraft already being put in use in the most creative ways. Just this summer, fueled by ambitions to autonomously ship goods to destinations more than 2,000 kilometers away, Chinese civilian drone makers utilized a larger unmanned aircraft to transport cargo.